Right, we're just gonna record this section because I really want to play the game. I'll upload the... Yeah, I'll post the upload on YouTube. Oh great, this is called a turkey tail. Delicious and good for the immune system. Ezra hands Kate the brittle brownish mushroom he took from the base of the cypress tree. Aha, brown gold. Most people call these sheep's head, but in alternative medicine circles it's better known by its Japanese name, Maitake, the dancing mushroom. Apt, because you do a happy little dance when you find one. It fights cancer, supports the immune system, regulates blood sugar, and tastes like eggplant. This one's a bit old and tough, but it's nothing that can't be sold with a lot of butter. Good find, Ezra. I just found this one. Kate takes the bundle of amber caps from her bag. These ones are really cool. See how they kind of glow a little? It's not enough to find your way in the dark or anything, but still pretty amazing. Anyway, I make a tea out of them. Pretty good for headaches. Kate puts the mushroom back into her bag. So... You have a brother out there somewhere? Julian. He's going to come find me in the morning, after the work is done. Yep, we work pretty hard. We used to spend part of each night looking for my folks, but now we pretty much just work. But maybe that will change now. I have some new friends. Do you have a family? I left home when I was very young, not much older than you actually. I bounced around jobs and shelters, and finally found my way down to the Echo River. Never looked back. Oh wait, we'd be missing out on things. Hold on. Tripped, no, we read that. Oh, well, we'll come back to that, I'm sure. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end. There was the bird. What's this island for? Looks like someone made it on purpose. Oh, right. It's kind of a nice, simple shape. Pleasantly minimal island geometry. I'm sure it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something? Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. A month later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly bullshit, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling, spiritual even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. It's a mystery. I'll search for clues. She puts out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Ezra examines a large stone monument. The monument is covered with lichen and painted text. Ezra reads the text. Rock graffiti. X plus O forever? Ezra looks around the shore. Ezra steps on a plastic bottle. A wooden post projects from the sand nearby. Ezra examines the wooden post. A groove is worn near the top of the post. What is this sound? Ezra inspects the contents of his pockets. Alright, what have you got? That stone-faced monument has X plus O forever painted on it. Cats? Interesting. What is this sound? Bumped into my mic. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hugs and kisses forever? Or they could be initials. Xavier and Olivia forever. Xerxes and Oliver? What do you think that monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. What's happening? There's a pole in the ground over there. It's all scratched up. Oh yeah, bet people tied their boats there. Cats? Kitties? Maybe somebody who takes care of the trees. Could be. Or other travelers and mushroom hunters, like us. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will was here. He has some local history for us. We can ask him, back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look up at an old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. Don't know much about it firsthand, but I've heard things. Someone told me she got close to it by accident and heard a strange wailing sound. She was a passenger on the Mammoth. She said she'd been out fishing on a rowboat and got swept up by a current near the cluttered place. Before she knew it, the Iron Pariah was upon her, unimaginably massive, up close, but eerily silent. The only sounds, she said, were the lapping of the lake water against its iron hull, and a faint sort of, well, she said, a chorus of mews. I'll be damned if I know what that sounds like. Never gotten close enough to the ship myself. Well, I think us as viewers and players of the game have just gotten close enough to hear that. Supposedly there's nobody even aboard. No people, I mean. There must be something on there. Life is everywhere. Rats, insects, some kind of hardy mold. Mold mentioned. Part of it could be flooded, and host to some of the eyeless fish that live in the echo. Hey, maybe there are some mushrooms growing there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. More mysteries. They do pile up over time, and people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. Battleship. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house. Past the house. Into the car. What was Ezra doing? Oh, right. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches. And then the bird. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while. The one with the little arcade, with the card game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited, or confused, or scared. But he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. Julian? Not yet. Right. Doesn't seem to be anywhere else we can go, so I guess it's time to go. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made, and the rocks weren't placed according to their size, so what's visible is more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. Looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump. I was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should just go with luck, or split the difference with look or even lick, or really anything else. It was never going to happen. Greta Luck and Norm Luck were high school sweethearts, or they met in prison. I'm gonna say... See, the word Norm is reminding me of Twin Peaks, so I'm gonna pick the second option. We took a chemistry class together where she challenged him to shoot the moon, learning formulae and compounds well enough to answer every test question exactly wrong and achieve a perfect failing grade. Their engagement was welcome news for the family businesses, who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. The Lucks ran a busy printing press, and the Lucks managed a fleet of bicycle couriers. That's a perfect combination. There were the Lucks of Luck Large Animal Storage and the Lucks of the Luck Family Nut Company. That's funnier in picking this option. Surely someone in some branch of those two great trees had elephant husbandry on the brain. This is all speculation. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. Maybe they walked around them in a spiral, like a symbol of their ever-tightening bond. And it must have also involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Oh, mushroom stew. I want to cook a mushroom stew. Or you set out in the dinghy to deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Both are very, very tempting options. I'll deliver the package. Act 4, Scene 7. We finally made it past Scene 8. Jesus Christ. Echo River Central Exchange. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go, Like, noise and lights disturb the bats. I usually send Will, but he's up to his elbows in mammoth grease right now. So, you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for, cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. It's the fucking Consolidated Power Company again. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the Bat Sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye! That's cool. Oh. Oh, is that... What's my dog's name? Wait. Where does left to lead us? Oh no, we're good. Let's take a look at this. Sign. We claim these helmets in the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never will find, and so we guess the water buried them for us. So let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try and see what will happen. Conway. Hey, Elkhorn. That's the mine we met in, where your folks, worked. Looks like it's been here a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it is still that angry? Sure, angry. Mainly just hurt. Yeah. Everybody's got their own way, I guess. This probably stirs up... I mean, how do you... It's fine. I'm glad this is here. People should remember this happened. Well, here we are, remembering. And I don't even know it the first time around. But here I am remembering it now. That's a fine memorial, I guess. Is my dog's name Blue? Oh my god! The boys from the brewery. Hi? Oh, you're waving. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Are you feeling okay? Oh, sure. It doesn't hurt anymore, my leg. It's just kind of numb, like it's not there. My shoulder too, actually. That's an old one, though, from an accident. Lucky I just had some nerve damage there. It probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on the plan. Consolidated. Consolidated? Like the Consolidated Power Company? What? When did you talk to them about that? Oh, they're around. Pretty much everywhere you look on this river. You really haven't noticed? What the fuck? I'm sorry, I thought I was not playing a horror game. Even for me? Hey, why not? Seems like we're getting pretty close to finding your cousin, right? And besides that, you're young and smart. Plenty of time to bounce back from... whatever. Listen, that old truck I've been driving around belonged to my boss Ira, Lizette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, But somehow Lise got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did. Or maybe so his ghost, who could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery. Now that the antique shop is closing up, got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. Sure, I could keep an eye on it for you, till you get straightened out. Sure, okay. Sounds good. Visitors to the Echo River's small-footed black bat artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary are asked to take some extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The small-footed black bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. That's very scary. I'm getting tense here. My mouse is on the flashlight button. I'm ready to turn it off anytime. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millionth of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. Sometimes it's hard to know with people too. Oh yeah, like, how about this weather? I guess there are layers to it, right? Sometimes you just need to get the other person talking so you can figure out so you can check their body language or hear what their voice sounds like. Find out if they're friendly or angry or drunk. Oh, I can hear them. Bat fact. The small-footed black bat's natural diet mostly consists of moth and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoth, which we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moth and insects the small-footed black bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the small-footed black bat normally hunts, to balance their escape from the food chain. That's pretty funny. The eating moth isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River, the shore of Lake Leith. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect that precious guano here at the hibernaculum and manually distribute throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. I wonder how the bats would feel about their guano being taken like that. Maybe it's better they don't know, like bat plumbing. I mean, I never think about where it goes. Do you? Right. It is reassuring to know someone's taking care of everything for these little bats. Yeah, who's gonna build the people hibernaculum? Maybe we'll build it ourselves. Maybe we already did. Like the folks in the mine. They said they used to buy stuff. Fans, canaries, all those little trinkets to make it bearable. There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered but human. I just mean, all people need is enough to pretend we're home, and we can make it anywhere. You get kind of philosophical when you're drinking. Did anyone ever tell you that? Yeah, I guess I do. Oh, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who would get loaded and tell the weirdest damn riddles. Like, which is more musical, a truck passing by a factory, or a truck passing by a music school? Count your blessings. Striped trees? And an umbrella. Truly, this is just like a scene from one of David Lynch's works. Okay, so we just pass through that. It does not get addressed. Beautiful. Oh, what's that sound? Bat fact? Sign. White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth which appears on bats' faces and wings irritates and confuses them, causing them to wake early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly, and it is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparison to colony collapse disorder, as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the small-footed black bat be two more lost species, wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctuary of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River, small-footed black bat hibernaculum and sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. Power lines? Interesting. Oh. Looks like rows of teeth almost. Where are we? We're indoors? Is this some sort of office space? Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. You too. Try not to make any more bad deals while I'm gone. I'll just be floating along down here. I just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. Why shouldn't I look back? Where are you going? Conway? Okay, we're good. Oh, hi. I remember you. What are you doing down here? I'm just exploring. I like dark, underground places. I'm a romantic. Really? What does that mean to you? It means I like poems and rivers and mysteries. Okay, bye. Right. Shit, you can't see anything. Do none of them have a light? Dashiell. Interesting name. I do not know how to pronounce it, so I apologize. Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. If your circuit's too noisy, you should tie those floating pins to ground. Huh, that's a pretty good idea. They're probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiell Morse. Morse? Fascinating. Pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. Sounds like a good gig, fixing old phones. Oh well, yeah. I'm here just about every night. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid, for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true, they had bats then too, but they were considered a nuisance. Train station? What happened to it? Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the film company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime. Running telephone wires behind company lines. We used trees instead of poles. I missed that actually. They were easier to climb. It's just as well. I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room for the WEVP folks. It is WEVP. I knew it. Oh god. Everything's connected. WEVP. That's community television. I volunteered there for a number of years. I know everybody over there. Ralph, Sherry, Weaver, Dave. Weaver Marquez? Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny, I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore. but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything, just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Puppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. If I turn off the torch and just stand here long enough, will I start seeing things? Right, I don't have the patience to wait. Fuck. Abel and Eloise, the Lois couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft, but old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby, to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation. And that's where we left them. That's cute. Oh, there's Poppy. Oh, those are the giant pigeon statues. Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? Laszlo... Huh, okay. Either it's from the Consolidated Power Co. or Laszlo Electronics, or there's no label on it. Let's say there's no label on it. That's weird, there's no label on it. Well, if we're lucky, it's chocolates from a secret admirer, and not a snake from an assassin. So, who are you? Do you work from the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah, I just met Dashiell. He's been working on that obsolete ringer, hasn't he? Poor Dashiell. You know, he's not really... He was let go a while back. A long while, actually. When they started restructuring, he was one of the first to go. But he talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with some interminable project. He says it's to keep a long gap from growing his resume. But I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men who needs to work, you know. Doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are no real jobs here, but there are fake jobs, I guess. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming. And I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jana, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13. And that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing. Nothing! And they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Lois left one Friday evening, and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. They had Jana and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma were moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. Hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice was a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, and I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Oh, a call. Sounded pretty good to me. He's got the voltage too high, he'll burn out the relay. So, where was I? Extended switchboard technique. It was all about timing your breath. Some girls got lightheaded doing too many calls in a row, with that upbeat dynamic inflection they made us use to keep everything intelligible. It was very physical. So, after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. If it's automated, what do you do here? It's not fully automated. There's still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you can feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching. Even on the phone. That's an electric touch. An intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. And that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays. Then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around the specific tempo of its human operators. So, short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. It's pretty cool. And that officially is my role here. I run a switchboard for a whole exchange. Once the work of 12, I'd like to remind you. I have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator light switch on, and I make the connection. Do you miss talking to callers? There's something that bothers me about the process, besides the fact that I'm training my replacement, who isn't even human. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it would take to time my every move and recreate that timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. At least a month. That's what I said. This has been going on for over a year, and a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here, filling in the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? You're not a machine? Nice of you to notice, huh? I mourn the Echo River Central Exchange, and I'll carry a torch for the voice with a smile. But at least I'm keeping some part of it human, right? Even if it's not the best part. Oh, the parcel, right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. 0! With the special text effect. Oh, good lord. Conway? Conway? Is that Conway? Conway? Buddy? Conway? No. What are you doing? Oh, it's so over. No. Surely that's one of them's Conway, right? What's going on here? Oh, man. Oh. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. See, like, water moving at the bottom of the screen. At least I think it's water. Okay. Right. Oh, man. This is so sad. Conway. No. She returned on the dinghy, alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her. But she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. She met a painter of shipwrecks. He never worked from photographs, so his paintings could be divided into two categories. There were the ones he painted from life, and the Echo River was a very good source for these because its currents were so unpredictable and the tunnels so dark. He rendered these in oil paint by lamplight, working for hours cross-legged on the porch of his houseboat/studio. Then there were the ones he painted from memory, mostly the memory of a single wreck he encountered as a much younger man. What the hell is on the shore over here? Picking up litter where the coastal highway cleaves to the rocky beaches of Northern California. These were done in watercolor. He preferred to work on them in the morning, in a room he rented near the airport in Louisville. He had some postcard-sized sketches in charcoal too, of the Iron Pariah. It wasn't a wreck exactly, but it felt right. He tried to scribble one down every time he encountered it. Though it was so unpredictable, and he was so focused on details, he usually just ended up with a handful of inscrutable marks. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. He said they took turns. They took turns? The water was cold, and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for the both of them. Swimming is hard work. The hardest work that dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of the thin rope. It floated pretty well, so he only had to keep an eye on it and occasionally free it from a rock or some driftwood it was caught on. She invited him to ride a ways on the dinghy. He appreciated the offer, but they weren't in a hurry. She met a family of 5 on a flat-bottomed skiff. The boat was loaded to capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped in a blue tarp. 3 paddled, the 2 adults and the older child. The 2 younger children slept. They'd been traveling all night, first by car, and then for the last few hours by boat. Hungry and tired, they didn't plan to stop until they reached West Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in. The adults were happy to take a break from paddling in weary silence. They asked her about her river journey. She said she was on the way to Sam and Ida's. They'd brought some food. The kids had picked the garden clean earlier in the day, so they'd been snacking on fresh bell peppers and tomatoes and some crackers, rationed carefully for the trip. They wished her well and paddled on toward West Virginia. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while, Then she knew what she'd been craving. A moment of silence. That's a lot of trash floating out front here. And a giant bell? This looks sort of familiar. This the family from earlier? Oh, it's everybody from earlier. The guy with the guitar case and the dog, and a family of 5. Did they just combine into one boat? Act 4, Scene 8. And I think that's where we're gonna end it for today. Oh, we've arrived at Sam and Ida's. Well, I'm gonna try to stream the next part. Unfortunately, things didn't quite work out today for the streaming. But that's how life goes sometimes. Right. We'll catch people in the next stream, I suppose.